Hey everyone, welcome back. Chris here. So in this video we're going to talk a little bit more about real estate investing specifically and kind of my wife's and my personal goals and why I chose real estate. So now real estate has definitely made the most millionaires. That's where most of the money is at, and one thing is always true, people are going to need a place to live. So again, when that stock market's crashing down, I'm not saying that your house value is going to skyrocket up, but there's ways to stay on top of making money in real estate. Now, if you're new to investing like I am, I've been educating myself again for a good 2-3 years now, and I finally pulled the trigger on my first deal is what we're looking at. The main thing I would recommend is education. Now you can get that education out there for free, and that's where I'd recommend starting at least. There's a lot of resources. Biggerpockets.com, great resource. They do have a membership option, but that's more or less to use their calculators and kind of access archived like webinars and whatnot. If you're just looking for general free information, check out their forums. That's free. You can sign up for an account for free and check out forums, ask questions. That's where I'd recommend starting. Propelio is also another great resource. They actually kind of have more instructional videos that are a bit more structured on specific concepts in real estate, such as wholesaling, note investing, rehabbing. Really depends on what you're looking for specifically. Now, I would recommend kind of briefly going over each strategy, and then find which strategy interests you the most and really hone in on that. That's what we're doing. So we really like the BRRRR strategy. Again, that's buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat. Coined famously by Brandon Turner, although he admittedly is not the person who came up with the concept. The concept's been around forever. He's just the one who's coined it as BRRRR. That's the strategy we're specifically focusing on because we really like both the fact that we can get rental properties out of it, and we can leverage a lot of money real quick. Now, other strategies that I'm personally interested in, at least to kind of build up, let me backtrack a little bit here. I'm trying to build up two sides of my business. I want passive income on one side, so I want that rent coming in every month. Another thing I'm looking at potentially doing is note investing, where essentially you act as the bank. Now, there's a lot of different ways you can invest in notes specifically, but if I can ideally get, let's say, one note a year where I'm getting at least $800 a month from that note, you can imagine by 5 years I'm pulling in $4,000 a month. Now, that ends at some point. There's advantages and disadvantages to every strategy. That particular strategy, it's nice because you get that monthly income, but when those terms are up, they're up. Whereas if I'm renting, I have to deal with a lot more headache with tenants. Now I'm hiring property management to mitigate a lot of that. But the nice thing is, when I'm ready to liquidate that asset, I can just sell it, and there's a nice big lump sum depending on how much equity is in the property. So that's kind of one stream that I'm looking at now. Another stream to be a bit more active in real estate investment. That's passive. I'm looking at active now. I'm looking into wholesaling and fix and flip. Now, wholesaling I like because you don't need a lot of money up front, but it is a grind, and it's smaller chunks of money as opposed to fix and flip. Now, fix and flip, you do need to have more capital, or you need to learn how to efficiently use what's called OPM, other people's money, to really kind of get that going. My idea is to use wholesaling to build up that capital myself, and then move more into fix and flip to build capital, take that capital, invest over in this side in my passive stream. So that's kind of how I'm looking to structure what we're doing. Now, but it all started with me focusing in on the BRRRR method because that's my preferred method. So again, the takeaway to that, focus in on one method, then expand out. Now again, education's the biggest thing. My friend Justin, he's the one that said it best to me. I'm sure he's not the first person to say it, but he's the first person to say it to me. You're going to pay for education. You're either going to pay through a program or you're going to pay through experience. And experience can be a lot more expensive in real estate, because if you mess up, you're looking at fix a flip, that could be, who knows, 100 grand or more of a mistake. So what I've personally done is I've paid for an education. I'm not going to say what the company is because I'm not like certified to sell their product or anything like that. The main thing I did was I did a lot of research first, because there's a lot of gurus out there. Maybe they have great stuff, maybe they don't. They want like 50 grand. And I'm not about to spend 50 grand just to get access to somebody's list of leads, which some of them, that's pretty much what they're charging you 50 grand for, is a list of their leads, not even deals, leads, potential deals. And that's not to talk trash about gurus specifically. I'm not calling anyone out, just do your research. The particular company I'm involved with, they charge 2 grand for their education. You can choose to sell their education if you want. That doesn't interest me. I just want real estate. What I like is how they've really structured kind of their education. Plus the upside is I got a mentor out of this. So I get to call my guy, which pretty much whenever I want, and just, bounce ideas off him. Right now it's more or less me asking him questions, but as I gain more experience, I'm sure it's going to be more of a partnership later on as opposed to mentorship. Now, that's probably the biggest thing I would suggest is you got to figure out how to find a mentor. Now, the main thing with the mentor is you got to be able to provide value. And just from listening to a lot of these big time real estate investors, one of the best things you could do, show your value up front. Bring them a deal. Yeah, you could take them out to lunch. You know how many people are asking them to go out to lunch just to pick their brain? You need to show them that you're proactive. And there's a lot of ways you can find those deals. Driving for dollars is one of them. This is kind of how to start getting your foot wet and say wholesaling. That's just basically driving around looking for distressed properties, which is what I'm currently doing to get into wholesaling. Now, there's apps you can use to actually keep track of these properties. I like Propelio's app because it's free, and if I want, I can pay for the membership and start sending out letters, get contact information. I can actually call, see if they actually want to make a sell on that property. But the nice thing I like right now is I can keep track of these properties. All I have to do while I'm driving by, my wife's in the back seat, clicks on that property, information comes up, she hits save, and that's it. Real quick, I can drive neighborhoods in my local area. In fact, this past week I've found 5 severely distressed properties. So we're talking boarded up, walls torn down, properties like that. And then some slightly distressed properties. Grass is above knee level, gutters are hanging down, clutter everywhere in the yard, or even you can see the clutter through the windows, properties like that. Now, if you're gonna bring a deal to someone, I would suggest taking it a step further. If you can get contact information for people who own these properties and just call, don't harass them, but if you call and just say, hey, I saw your property on such and such street, are you interested in selling? At least get the ball rolling. Now, if you're able to kind of negotiate a price or anything like that, you're able, if you can work that deal out yourself, awesome. If you don't know what to do, bring that to somebody you know who is an investor, one of these big timers, and say, hey, I've got this deal. I don't know what to do. What would you like to do with it? Or do you know someone who would be interested in this? Essentially the concepts to wholesaling right there, but that is at least putting your foot forward and showing somebody that you mean business. So again, if you're looking for a mentor, that's kind of the route I recommend. Yeah, you can take them out to lunch. You can see if that works. Not going to work for everyone, especially people who are getting bombarded all the time with those requests. Now, if you have any other questions, again, I'm going to be putting information down in the description, but feel free to comment or question down below, and we'll see you in the next video. So what I got.